Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Banjo-Kazooie playthrough. Something happened. I was recording this the other day and did exceptionally well and had a great time. And I was on the wrong screen the whole time. So what I have done is started over again and played through up until the point we left off at, which luckily was just the second world, so it wasn't that big a deal. But the problem with these like linear games and stuff, with you know, you just progress and progress and progress. If I record wrong or like mess something up throughout the whole thing, since I don't edit stuff and I don't like, I don't cut things. I want it to be as like real and together as possible. Um, I had to start all over again, but I won't make that mistake again. Now I have a big sticky note that says, "Don't forget to change the scene, fool." Also, something weird, my desktop audio was disconnected. So I recorded something else after I found out about the Banjo-Kazooie mishap, and I couldn't use that either because it was all it was all no audio. So really weird stuff. Man, PCs, I swear to God, they are incredible. But we left off at about 7, I think, puzzle pieces. I did everything we did already, so should be good to just kind of roll through this. One thing I wanted to show y'all that I didn't know about, not getting eaten by the shark, but actually, what's over here too? I don't know if I've ever seen over here. Is there anything weird this way? Nah, there isn't. But, see that, like, I found this last time. I didn't know there was a skull behind, the snail thing. Snail thing? I don't know, whatever this thing is. Snipper? Was that his name? I don't know. Either way. There's a freaking Mumbo deal behind there. Oh, hello? There you go. Something I wanted to point out last time, which is interesting about this game, is that, like, some of these missions, you collect those Mumbo tokens, but you don't actually need them on the map itself, which I thought was a very cool way to, create and play this game and everything, because it was like, okay, I think I already rescued him last time, but it is what it is. But I think that's a unique way to play the game, too, because it's not like, okay, here's the thing you have to do every time, here's the same thing you have to, like, collect every time to make sure that you can actually finish this map. Like, nah, this was just separate quests throughout, And Clankers is the same way. Like, we're gonna do Clankers next, which I actually did really well on Clanker's Cavern last time. I played it. I couldn't record it, of course, but, it was the best I had ever done on there. I got confused about something pretty silly, but we figured it out. Either way, it was definitely one of those things where, like, I was shocked at how well I did on it. Yeah, you don't have to do Mumbo on those because, like, you don't need his magic for everything. So it's cool that, like, a side character, one, got the notoriety that he did because, he's a meme and it's just one of those funny things that, you hear. And then two, like, it wasn't like, okay, you have to do this every time. This is the basic layout of the map. You do a few of these fetch quests, you do a few of these puzzles, you have to turn into something to do this. Like, it was very fresh, each map. You didn't know what exactly you were getting into. So I thought that was pretty cool. Something I've noticed about losing the recording, and this is, again, it just goes with, like, naturally, kind of doing these things. Less editing, more just, straight up me hanging out with you kind of deal. The things I was talking about were pretty, like, nothing's necessarily scripted or, thought out. It just kind of happens. Whatever I'm feeling at the time I'm playing this game is what, I'm talking about. But, I had some really fun talking points and some interesting things, and it's just like, well, that was that, It just is what it is now. And that's not, it is, like I say, it is what it is. It'll come back to us and we'll get other talking points and things. I didn't realize there was a skull up here, and I probably got it last time. But that's okay. I'll do this one too, because I forgot to get this one. I knew this was up here. Is he gonna just, yeah, grab it? Beautiful. When I went to record last time, too, now this is pretty interesting, something I didn't realize about this game either. So I just kind of picked up where I left off before, and when I came back to this, all of the bosses reset everything, because you leave the game and you come back, and it's like, okay, you have to do all the stuff if you want to, like, you know, progress through. So the guy on the ship was crying again, and, you know, Snipper was over there trying to kill me again. Like, it was just weird. Like, I didn't realize that all that stuff kind of resets. Ow. Fucker. Don't do that to me. Yeah, but it wasn't a big deal. I love this game, so honestly, it was like the best possible game for me to lose footage on, because it's like, I get to play it again. Oh well, you know, that's awesome. Oh, look, that's the one I always think of. Okay, so this thing being here, I always think of that skull when I'm, like, on the other side of the map, and I usually get caught out in the open by the shark because I'm looking for something that's not there. See that, like, glimmer on the gold honeycomb and stuff? That's, like, such a 90s thing, dude. I swear to God, like, you look at each decade, and there's just always something that each, like, I feel like a lot of the genres, especially the big ones, have, and, you know, back in the 90s, it was, like, everything on, you know, like, Mario's stars, you know, there were, like, crystals and things in Kirby's, any Kirby games. Banjo-Kazooie, all these gold, like, glimmery things. Like, you know, it's just like those shiny, like, oh, this is gold. It's, you know, it's a crystal. It's jewels. It's beautiful, you know? Early 80s and, like, late 80s, it was all just, like, multicolors and stuff like that. You know, I mean, when you had a star in Mario, you were just shining, dude. You were, like, flashing colors and stuff. It was all such a weird retro feel, but I think that's what gives each, you know, each decade or each, you know, franchise's tropes is like, hey, look at that, they're just shining. Everything is shining. It's so interesting. I love it, though. I think it's cool, you know, especially as a kid, you know, you respond to that kind of stuff. You're like, oh, wow, shiny. Kid brain, yes, let's go. Oh, hello. You notice how we're at, like, an elevation, and the music's, like, off, and it's just, like, all windy and stuff up here? I think that's kind of interesting, and I love how it transitions when you fall or, like, slide down the mountain. God damn it. Back into, like, the actual music. If there's one thing about this game, music and sound effects are just a big staple of Rare and this franchise in general. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I mention it in stream. I mention it anytime I play this game. It is just incredible, the kind of music and stuff they did. I mean, the limitations, like, back in the day, yet the imagination that they had, it's just crazy to think about making a game, putting all these sounds. You know, they don't use, like, traditional voice acting. They have just sound effects and things like that. It's, I think it's brilliant. I think it's so cool. There you go, 100 notes. I have to use the jump pad. I don't even know why I tried that. There you go. That should be everything on this level. Yeah, we just blew through this one. See, the first two are great, because it's like, okay, Mumbo's Mountain, you know, it's just getting to know everything. It's just going through it all. There's some good stuff, some hard stuff, you know, whatever. But for the most part, it's just learning a couple of crucial moves and, you know, just kind of getting a feel for how the game's going to play out. This one, it's like, okay, you're on your own now. There's a few new moves to get, you know, a few crucial things you'll need. But, you know, for the most part, like, there's going to be this guy who's unkillable, you know, that'll go after you. Although there was a bull that was unkillable in the other one, too. So I guess really, you know, they just kind of, like, heightened the senses of danger on this one. It's like the shark can be anywhere on here. The shark can be all over the place, and you just kind of got to go out there and do stuff. The bull was not nearly as big a threat. You could avoid the bull entirely if you wanted to. Okay, cool. So that was that. Let me just see what time we're at here. So last time I played this through, I had to play Mumbo's again, and I added another 40 seconds because I was just messing around. I totally messed it up. But still around 15 minutes, not bad. That was 23 minutes, so I actually did that in much quicker time than I did before. Not that it matters too much, but I just wanted to see, you know. I think last time I did that, I was like 30 minutes or something like that. And I believe a lot of that had to do with I couldn't remember really what I did when I re-logged in to continue where I left off. There we go. Got another puzzle piece on the top here. This game actually gave me a bigger appreciation for Mario 64. I like to parallel both of those games because, you know, at the time they were both pretty similar in design, what they had to do, what you had to do to, you know, get them and play them and everything like that. Essentially just a couple of open worlds you get on, you do a few missions. That was a little more scripted than this, though. This you can kind of just roll through and do what you got to do. You can do it. You can play the worlds any way you want to. Mario's fatal flaw, in my opinion, was that you could play any way you wanted to, but there was still like a set path you had to take for the most part. Like, here's 6 stars on this map. There's a bonus one if you get the coins, but, you know, we want you to do this mission first, and then this mission second, and this mission third. And, you know, as a kid, you thought, okay, I have to do these in order. And if you couldn't do them in order, you felt kind of like, damn, what now? But they kind of did the original, like, you know, Banjo-Tooie thing, where each map kind of, sometimes you had to connect the dots and, you know, get back in and do other things. Like, you know, there's that flight cap in the very first map on Mario 64, right? And you can't access that until you get the flight cap. So it's like, okay, I have to do this stuff in order to come back and do that. Banjo-Tooie was much more like that. So this game, you know, it's straightforward. So you go to each world, you can complete each world, and then you never have to go back again. But Tooie realized, I think, the developers realized, like, hey, to stretch more out of the game, let's, you know, let's have you have to grab things to come back to these worlds. Or, like, these worlds connect in some way. So you can actually go from, like, you know, the Aztec world to the Fiery Peaks world or whatever it is. Banjo-Tooie is much harder than this game and much more robust, and I like it a lot because of that. I don't know if I need to talk to her or not. I actually skip a lot of the stuff she says, which is probably not a great idea since, you know, I have to use that information at the end. I've actually never beaten this game. I don't know if I talked about that before or not, but I've never actually beaten Banjo-Kazooie. And a big reason for that is because I like to always have a reason to go back to stuff. So if I love something, like this game, for instance, I want a reason to have to come back and play it. And if I beat it, I'm not going to want to come back and play it, you know? I mean, I will. I like to replay and whatever, but there's not going to be that thing that's, like, held over my head that says, hey, you know, we have this, you have the ending, you know, come back and play it, come back and do it, or whatever. So I like to stretch stuff out like that, you know? Like, I have a reason to come back and play it. I have a reason to come back and revisit. I love it, though, you know? So we finished Treasure Trove. I just opened the swamp up. This is another important thing and distinction between Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie, because they really improved on the gameplay of Banjo-Tooie. They added more into it. They made the game, like, feel a little better, and they gave more reason to play the game and more ways to play the game. But I could totally skip Clanker's Cavern if I wanted to. I did pretty well on it last time, though, so I will play it through. But it's just one of those things where, like, this game gives you the option. Water worlds are always awful, and, you know, this is no exception. Clanker's Cavern is pretty damn awful. I just don't like the swimming mechanics in any worlds. I don't like, you know, the feel of the game when it comes to playing in water. It's just hard to navigate. Plus, there's, like, this terror sense you get, and I'll show you all that stuff on the next one. But we are gonna wrap this one up here. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for hanging out as usual. It is just an absolute pleasure. Technical issues aside, I get tons of joy out of doing this, so thank you for indulging me, my friends. But yeah, be well, y'all. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.